Hi, this is Taylor with the Public Speaking Blog. Today I want to address an issue that is toxic to the realm of communicating on a daily basis. This is going to affect everybody, whether you give public speeches, whether you work in an office and you talk to people every day, if you have friends, which is I assume most of us, if you have a family. If you communicate with a human being, then this is going to help you. So what this is, and what I'm going to tell you, is to remove idle words from your sentences. So what's an idle word? An idle word is any word that we insert into a sentence that doesn't affect the sentence's outcome, idea, meaning, or direction. An example of this is but, like, sort of. Like and sort of are a little bit different because they actually have a definition in the dictionary. We can use those effectively in a sentence if we're actually using them appropriately. Now, when people don't use them appropriately, I'll give an example here. I want to find some sort of thing, a sort of mechanism of sorts. And you'll find that really big in the business world. They'll say a sort of this or a sort of that. It's just say this or that. You don't need the sort of in front of it. And like is good when making comparisons, but it's not good when you're inserting it into every other word that you say. I want to talk to him because I don't really know what he's actually feeling. One day he's like this and one day he's like that. Oh my goodness. That sounds preposterous. What you could say instead, I want to talk to him because I don't know where he's coming from and I really want to get a gauge on how he's feeling. Wow. That's so much cleaner, so much more effective. And finally, and but. Oh my goodness, people. If you say and but, you need to revise your diction. Because those words aren't in the dictionary. They're not in the English dictionary as far as I'm concerned. And if they are, they don't mean anything. So, how do we get rid of these words from our diction? What tools do we have at our disposal to talk better? Well, for me, I wore a rubber band around my wrist and snapped myself every time I caught myself saying that. But that was because I was in a public speaking class and we actually lost points for saying those words to the point where we could get a 0 on a speech if we used too many idle words. Now that's a little extreme and I'm not going to push that method onto anybody, to be honest. Unless you really want to. It's a good means of doing it. The best way that I would say to go about it, though, is to bring someone in your life who hangs around you a lot, whether that be a spouse or a significant other or a family member that hears you talk a lot. And just let them know. Bring them in on a conversation and say, hey, I'm trying to speak more fluently, and the way that I want to do this is I want to remove the words from my vocabulary. I want to remove the word like from my vocabulary unless it's being used appropriately. And so you just tell them, hey, can you let me know when I'm using these words out of their appropriate context? And they'll let you know, and you'll start catching yourself, and you'll start talking more fluently. So why do we use idle words? Why is this even a problem for most people? Well, most people start talking before they think about what they're going to say. That's the biggest problem. Especially in a small group communication setting, you want the spotlight so much that you forget to think and you just start vomiting words out of your mouth. And what that does is you don't give yourself a chance to think, and you end up using a lot of idle words. So what I do, instead of saying or like or but, I just pause. And then I continue my thought. Pauses are okay. And oftentimes in my videos, if you see me pause, it's probably because I forgot where I was going. So why is this so important? Why should we remove these words from our vocabulary? Well, you gain a certain amount of authority when you speak confidently without idle words. And if you note, any amazing speaker will almost never say And they'll only say like or sort of in a context that makes sense. And this is something that we're all capable of doing. We're all capable of removing these words from our vocabulary to such a degree that we'll become so much better at speaking. So that's been today's tip. Remove idle words from your sentences. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below, and you can email me at thepublicspeakingblog@gmail.com.